Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where all friends, fans come together to BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss a musical artist. I'm Jason. With me is Tim on the top.
How's it going?
Trey, right below
Hello.
me, and Bill on the bottom. I don't know why you're always on the bottom, dude. You're always last to join. That's what it is. But today we're talking Antipop by Primus. This was Tim's pick. Each week we rotate out. One of us picks an artist, brings to the table, and they let their friends shit on it. So, this week it's Primus. Because it's been a whole week since we recorded the previous episodes, does anybody have any mulligans to pull? Anything they want to change? I'm still good.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I am going to call a mulligan, actually. And it'll make a little more sense a little later. But I'm going to bring Frizzle Fry up one and switch it with Punch Bowl. I think that's going to make a little more sense as this thing rounds out.
I was curious about that because I got some future notes too, and I was wondering how you was going to pull that off the way it was out. But we'll get there.
Step it up, boys.
All right, let's get into. Anybody else have any mulligans?
I do not. I thought I would, but I'm good.
All right, we are on to Antipop. Who will start this one off?
No, I can start this guy off. Kind of want to, anyways.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your initial reactions to this album.
Yep. So just a reminder for those of you tuning in, really was not familiar with Primus before this. We were pre-production meeting discussing. I realized, I did hear one Primus song, but it's not on the album, so it's fine. Intro, I thought was kind of a nice, remind me a lot of a 70s or 60s thriller. Really enjoyed it, actually. Electric Uncle Sam, cool techno beat to it. It felt really catchy, but not poppy. I'm here for it. Natural Joe, I felt like a snoozer of a song at first, but then the bridge came on. I'm like, all right, here we go. Loved how it picked up. Lacquerhead was a solid song. Not sure how it would have been without the bass on it, though, was my other note I had with it. I felt like the bass really helped accentuate the song and carry it through at times. But it was still a good song. The Antipop, best song on the album so far. I really love the tempo changes they had going on with it. Just really drew my attention. I just stuck onto it. Eclectic Electric, highlight of the album potentially. I love the build and everything else going on. The eerie start to it. By far top song contender. And then we got Greet the Sacred Cow. What the fuck? Okay. I'm not sure about that intro, but it turns out to be all right. Mama Didn't Raise No Fool. The album, hooray, it's back on track. Potential top song contender. Dirty Drowning Man. I really thought that it just kept the album on track. I love the elevating music. I loved how it was going with it. Potential top song contender right there. Ballad of Bodacious, I've just put fun vibe for that one. How We're Mad was a great song. It feels like it just builds on itself. Final Voyage of the Liquid Sky. I love it. It was a musical roller coaster for me, just between the musical pitch and everything else going on with it. I really enjoyed that one as well. And we finished with Coattails of a Dead Man, which is a great closer, had a solid waltz beat to it, which I'm not going to say anything more about that waltz beat until I rank this album.
I'd love to follow that up. I only agree with you in two spots.
Sounds about right. I was wondering if that was going to happen.
Almost word for word. Actually, it is word for word for those two songs. The intro, it's short, it's pointless, it's fine. Electric Uncle Sam, it's too simple. Like Primus set a pretty high bar on the previous albums, and this one just sounds too simplistic for me. Natural Joe, I did like. This was classic Primus. My only issue is it's too clean. The bass is a little dirty, but the guitars and especially the drums are just too clean. Lacquerhead, fuck Fred Durst, but I'll be damned if this one ain't a banger. Les's bass riff carries this one though, super strong. Chorus is heavy, top song contender. The Antipop had a weird electronic spacey vibe going on before going into this heavy shit, before going into the mid-tempo funk groove. All this is before Les even sings the first word. The verses are cool, but the chorus is really poppy for Primus. Overall, not a skipper, but not one I'd put on a mixtape. Electric, 8 minutes long. A lot of it felt like filler. It wasn't all bad, but it reminded me of Tales from the Punch Bowl, which is not my favorite Primus. The last 4 minutes of the song is definitely worth hearing, though. Greet the Sacred Cow. What the fuck? Okay.
We're 2 for 2 so far. Okay.
Okay, yeah, this is the top song contender. Mama Didn't Raise, it sounds like Primus, but it doesn't at the same time. It's really weird. It's the production. Tom Morello is 0 and 2 with his production on this album for me. Dirty Drowning Man, the intro was damn good, but it doesn't really do anything that cool again in the rest of the song. The Ballad of Bodacious is fun. I can get behind it. Power Mad, wasn't feeling it. Felt too Chili Peppers for me. After the last 5 albums, I expect better. And the Final Voyage of the Liquid Sky, I love the opening line. I've been fighting gravity since I was 2. Because, I mean, yeah, that's kind of fucking true, you know. We've all been fighting the gravity since we were 2. It's airy and funky and goes in places you aren't expecting. Coattails, hell yeah, this album ends on a decent 1-2 punch. Shout out Jim Beam. Primus nails Spooky Carnival. Hyped to get to the Wonk album. The hidden track, fucking classic Primus. This is better than most of the actual album. It's just a matter of opinion. Ranking this one, I ain't saying nothing else.
Want me to go?
I mean, go ahead. You guys are pretty much taking out my notes, so.
Electric Uncle Sam. I won't even mention the intro. It's fine. Electric Uncle Sam. It's okay. I think it's a little too. If I remember right, this was kind of their new metal album, and that is part of it.
That's how it was advertised. Yeah.
Yeah. Natural Joe. I like that song quite a bit. It kind of has that vibe of just some dude who thinks he's the coolest guy in the world walking down the street. You know, it's just fun and chill. Lacquerhead, I agree with Bill. If it wasn't for the bass, this song would not work at all. Fred Durst's production's fine, except there's a little section where it kind of sounds like he's trying to do record scratches on a bass. I don't know what's going on there, but it didn't work for me. Antipop is fine. Eclectic Electric, is it Pink Primus or Primus Floyd? Because all I heard was Pink Floyd with this song. But
Which one is Bob Seacock?
I really liked it. Like I loved it.
Can't wait till we get to that Pink Floyd discography.
That was a highlight for me. Greet the Sacred Cow. Yeah, I don't know. Mama Didn't Raise No Fool. I agree with Jason. Like Tom Morello's production doesn't work with this band. Dirty Drowning Man, I like that one. Ballad of the Bodacious, they advertise it as a new metal album, but they put a song about riding in a rodeo. Big ass bodacious, big badass bodacious. It's
Well, and really, you guys keep mentioning it. Let's just, I mean, that is why they marketed this as new metal, because Tom Morello and Fred Durst are on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Tom Morello really tries to be all over it.
And if you look
But
at
yeah,
like
kind
Ballad
of
of,
the weakest parts of the album.
Yeah, that's definitely the weakest parts.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ballad of Bodacious is a classic Primus song that I think could fit on any album.
Sure.
And it's just, I don't, Power Mad, I like it. Final Voyage, I like it. Coattails, it's great. I mean, it's Tom Waits, you know. And the Heckler, it's a leftover from Suck on This, so of course it's great. So
I've heard like Les in interviews say he has a few regrets with this album.
Yeah, really the only two things you guys haven't mentioned yet that I want, well, I think it's three things. Natural Joe, of course, is one of the higher production moments on the album because you get Matt Stone from South Park fame producing that one. And it does. It just feels like a nice, clean track. I love that song. The Antipop, I think that's an epic that could have been on any Primus album. That's one of those classic Primus songs. And then Eclectic Electric has Jim Martin, formerly of Faith No More, and James Hetfield, currently in Metallica, both playing guitar on there. And Dirty Drowning Man, which is another one I love, was produced by Stuart Copeland of The Police. Uh, and Oysterhead with it also has Les and the dude from Fish. Um, and then yeah, I think the final voyage of the Liquid Sky is up there with the Great Sacred Cow. It's like super funky. Yeah, the guitars have a tone that was popular in the late 90s, and they did get on a bunch of like new metal themed tours. But it's hard to argue that, Primus are a cornerstone of that genre, along with, Faith No More and Public Enemy and everything else Fishbone and everything that was coming out before new metal proper. And I'd take this over 98% of that. This is one of the few things that's like I like Lacquerhead. I think the drums on there are great. I think the lyrics are hilarious. And yeah, I mean, Coattails of a Dead Man. I mean, let's is this the best closer in the discography?
No,
I mean, it's up there, but no, not for me.
there's one
Okay.
It's a
coming.
good
There's
one,
one
though.
coming
Throwing it
later.
out there.
There's one coming later.
Just throwing it out there. That one's in the conversation.
But yeah,
I mean, yeah, there's some other good ones, of course, but um, yeah, I think that for Brain's second album, they feel a lot better, a little more cohesive as a band, where they're starting to like kind of get their feet again. Where, because I mean, as great as the Brown album actually is, it kind of flopped. A lot of people got off the Primus train at that point, and I think they're here. I mean, yeah, they're flexing their showbiz muscles. You know, at this point, everybody knows who Primus is, and like wants to work with them.
they want a piece of that Primus
And
pie.
yeah, right. um, and yeah, I mean, it's hard not to argue that new metal wouldn't exist if Primus and Ice Cube never went into a blender together. I mean, on tour together. And
Oh, before that, Aerosmith, Run DMC.
yeah, and Anthrax and Public Enemy. I mean, yeah, and Faith No More. There's the Red Hot Chili Peppers. There's definite cornerstones to it. Sepultura, the Black Album.
I mean, there's highlights on this record. There's definitely like must-hear Primus top songs. But
there's a couple skippers.
man, after the Brown album, this is such a... And I could see why the Brown album wouldn't sell.
Right.
It's a shame, but like I could see that just because of the sound of it, the dirtiness, and I could see them like to counter that they produce this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, what do you prefer?
The late 90s. What a great time.
I like the album overall. I think it has an identity crisis. It doesn't quite know what it wants to be, and it's trying to be a bunch of things at once. And
Yeah.
And look, I do like her head. Like I do think that like that riff is just so, that bass is so good in it.
I think a lot of the songs individually work. It's just as an album, it just doesn't flow to me well. And
And those two closing tracks are some of the best Primus we've heard, like, to date.
Yep. And yeah, you do get, the hidden track with the heckler just showing that they're still kind of growing from those first initial seeds, but there is a bit of identity crisis. I like that phrase. And maybe even a little bit of burnout as they've been pretty steadily working the entire decade.
It was after this that Les really started with his side bands and stuff, wasn't it?
Sure. Well, I mean, San Francisco, they all like the two biggest examples would be Primus and Faith No More. Both kind of dropped off American radio in '95, and both Les and Mike Patton both went on to, just start working with anybody and everybody and really developing, this rich musical legacy.
Yeah.
All right. The last album of the 90s.
A magical decade.
I don't remember I don't remember this one making it to the grinder.
99's a tough year.
Well, Trey, you get to guess.
Yay.
You got the dot.
So I'm gonna start with what I think is the easy one and go with Jason and say 6.
Yes. But I struggle with this one. I struggle with this one. I do. I'm gonna keep it there. I'm gonna keep it there for now.
Bill, I feel like is gonna have it either 2 or 1. I feel like this is a high one.
I mean, you've got the right idea. It definitely is not above Frizzle Frazzle.
Frizzle Fry.
That's what I said.
So 3.
What? Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Tim, I'm gonna guess 6 on that also.
Yeah, that works. I think on any given day, this and 5 could flip.
See, that's where I'm at, because my final note says ranking this is hard. I'm still torn on this, but I think I like Tails a bit more. But I could see that changing with more time. I've had more time, and I'm just like, I'm stuck here.
I think Tails is a better overall. Like, it feels like as a more cohesive collection of songs, and I think the performances are really good on it. But Antipop has this weird, like, fun energy to it that a lot of these songs do work, which is everything that Punch Bowl really didn't do. So
Yeah,
they can kind of you could get like a really good Primus album by picking out a nice playlist of your favorite songs from these two albums.
Yeah, you can make a real solid record.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put it at 5. Honestly, I think Punch Bowl, from a critical perspective, is a better album. But if I'm gonna pick one or the other to listen to, I'm probably gonna listen to Antipop. And it's that weird energy that Tim talked about. It's just, by the time I got to Punch Bowl, I was honestly I had fatigue going on. And Antipop, even if you don't like the songs, some of them can kick you in the ass pretty hard. I mean,
some of them will get stuck in your head and you just won't even know what it is. And then you'll go back to Antipop and be like, that's what's been stuck in my head for the last 4 months. Yeah.
The core head was stuck in my head for a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, Natural Joe is so great. And Greet the Sacred Cow, it's so funky. I love that track.
The only thing that got out of my head was my wife was scrolling through TikTok, and one of the TikTok videos had Soul Asylum's Runaway Train played like 10 seconds, and that Runaway Train's been stuck in my head now for the last day.
Never
Oh,
come
but-
back.
You know,
still not their best song.
no, not by
Oh,
a long
no.
shot.
Oh.
All right, well, stick around. We're gonna talk green naldehyde. The fuck is it
Well,
called?
we might even throw that animals in on that discussion.
First, we're
We
going to
might
talk
start
about some
there,
animals
even,
should
yeah.
not try to act like people first.
Look at that art.
I know.
Look
God,
look at that art. Yeah, let's go.
Stick around. We are a playlist link channel. We talk about all these records, and at the very end, we're going to talk about the album art. We're going to rank the album art. If you're first time watching the show, you don't want to miss it. We wear funny hats. So, not as funny as that, though. But we'll get there. As always, be safe and what, Tim?
Wear funny hats.
Like a head knows but one desire. Like a head sets his skull on fire.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.
Y'all
Be
come
safe.
back now, you hear?